Ever stood over a backed-up sink watching the water rise and thought, I'm about to call a plumber for this? You're not alone, and I'll tell you, most of the time you don't need to make that call. After 3 decades in the trade, I've unclogged more drains than I can count, and the tricks that work fastest are the ones most people never hear about. Today, I'm walking you through 10 secret plumbing tricks to unclog drains in seconds, including a method at number 8 that most homeowners are too nervous to try, but is actually one of the easiest fixes out there. And stick around for the bonus tip at the end, because that one alone could save you from ever dealing with a slow drain again. The first trick on our list is the boiling water flush, and this one is about as simple as it gets. Most people don't even think of this because it seems too easy. Here's the thing. Grease, soap scum, and that sticky residue from toothpaste and shaving cream build up inside your drain pipe over time. They coat the inside of that pipe like layers of paint, and eventually, the opening gets so narrow that water can barely squeeze through. Boiling water cuts right through that buildup. Now listen, there's a right way to do this. Don't just dump a whole pot in there at once. Bring a full kettle or a big pot of water to a rolling boil on the stove. Then pour it slowly in 2 or 3 stages, waiting about 5 seconds between each pour. That gives the heat time to work on the clog instead of just sitting on top of it. The hot water melts the grease and softens the soap scum, and gravity does the rest. One important thing. This works beautifully on metal pipes, but if you've got PVC, which is that white plastic drain pipe, don't use a full rolling boil. PVC can soften at extremely high temperatures. Use very hot tap water instead, as hot as your faucet will go. For metal pipes, though, boiling water is your best friend. I've cleared hundreds of slow kitchen sinks with nothing more than a kettle. Takes about 60 seconds. The second trick that catches people off guard is the wet-dry vacuum method. Now, most folks who own a shop vac use it for sawdust and garage cleanups. They never think to point it at a clogged drain. But I'll tell you, this is one of the most effective unclogging tricks I know. Set your shop vac to the wet or liquids mode. That's important. You don't want to run water through it on the dry setting. Take the hose and create the tightest seal you can over the drain opening. If you've got an old plunger head lying around, you can cut a hole in the center and feed the vacuum hose through it to get a better seal. Turn it on full power, and what you're doing is creating serious suction that pulls the clog back up and out of the pipe. This is especially effective on clogs that are sitting in the first 12 to 18 inches of the drain line. Hair clogs, food buildup, soap chunks, all of it comes right up into the vacuum. The key is the seal. If air is leaking around the hose, you lose suction and the trick won't work. Take your time getting that seal tight. I've pulled out clogs with a shop vac that a plunger couldn't budge, and it took maybe 15 seconds once the seal was right. The third trick every homeowner should learn is the drain snake spin technique. Now, a lot of people own a hand crank drain snake, that coiled cable that comes on a little drum. You can pick one up at any hardware store for around $20 to $30, and a 25-foot model will handle almost any household clog. But here's where most people go wrong. They shove the cable down the drain and just push. That's not how it works. You need to feed the cable in slowly while cranking the handle clockwise at the same time. That spinning motion is what lets the tip of the snake grab onto the clog and either break it apart or hook it so you can pull it back out. When you feel resistance, don't force it. Keep cranking and apply gentle forward pressure. The snake will work its way into the blockage. Once you feel it break through or grab hold, slowly pull the cable back out, keeping that clockwise rotation going. You'll usually pull out a nasty clump of hair, soap, or debris. Have a bucket and some old towels ready, because what comes out is not pretty. Between you and me, the spin is the whole secret. Without it, you're just poking at the clog. With it, you're actually grabbing and removing it. This is the same technique professional plumbers use, just on a smaller scale. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, do me a small favor and hit that subscribe button down below. I put out new videos like this one every week, walking you through repairs that'll save you a small fortune in plumber bills. Subscribing is free, and it's the best way to make sure you don't miss the next one. All right, let's continue. The fourth trick on our list is the baking soda and vinegar volcano. And I know what you're thinking. Everybody's heard of this one. But here's the thing. Almost everybody does it wrong, and that's why they think it doesn't work. The mistake most people make is pouring the baking soda and vinegar in at the same time and watching it foam up in the sink basin. That looks impressive, but the chemical reaction is happening above the clog, not inside it. Here's the right way. First, pull out any standing water from the sink or tub. Then, pour about half a cup of dry baking soda directly down the drain. Use a funnel, or just go slow so it actually falls into the pipe and doesn't sit on the drain cover. Wait 2 to 3 minutes and let that baking soda settle down into the clog. Then, pour 1 cup of plain white vinegar in after it. Immediately, cover the drain opening with a wet rag or a drain stopper. This is the critical step that everybody skips. When you seal that drain, the fizzing reaction is forced downward into the clog instead of escaping upward. The pressure builds inside the pipe and breaks the blockage apart from within. Let it work for 15 to 20 minutes, then flush with hot water. When you do it this way, it actually works. I've cleared bathroom sinks in my own house using this exact method more times than I can count. The fifth trick I want to share with you is the Plunger seal trick with petroleum jelly. Everybody owns a plunger, but most people don't get great results because the seal between the plunger cup and the drain surface is weak. Air leaks around the edges, and you lose all that pressure you're trying to build. The fix is dead simple. Take a fingerful of petroleum jelly, just regular old Vaseline, and rub it around the entire rim of the plunger cup before you start plunging. That thin layer of petroleum jelly creates an airtight seal against the porcelain or the stainless steel of the sink basin. Now, when you plunge, every bit of force goes straight down into the pipe. You'll feel the difference immediately. The plunger grips, the suction holds, and the pressure actually reaches the clog. Use firm, steady plunges. Don't go wild with it. About 15 to 20 strong pumps should do the trick. This works on sinks, tubs, and shower drains. For toilets, make sure you're using a flange plunger. That's the one with the extra rubber flap that folds out from the bottom of the cup. The petroleum jelly trick works on those too. I've been doing this for 30 years, and this one little upgrade makes a plunger twice as effective. The sixth trick that costs you absolutely nothing is the wire hanger hook pull. Go to your closet and grab a wire coat hanger. Straighten it out as best you can using a pair of needle nose pliers. Then bend one end into a small hook, like a tiny fish hook, about 1/4 inch long. Now you've got a custom drain extraction tool that works better than most of those plastic drain cleaning strips you see at the store. Remove the drain cover or stopper from your sink or tub. Slide the hooked end down into the drain and start fishing. Twist it slowly and pull upward. What you're going to pull out is a wad of hair, soap, and grime that will make your stomach turn. But that disgusting clump is exactly what's been slowing your drain down. This works best on clogs that are sitting right near the opening, within the first 4 to 6 inches. Bathroom sinks and shower drains are where this trick really shines, because hair clogs tend to catch on the crossbars right below the drain cover. It takes about 30 seconds, and the only tool you need is a hanger you were probably going to throw away. Don't underestimate this one. Simple doesn't mean it doesn't work. Now listen, the seventh trick is one specifically for toilets, and it's called the dish soap slide. This one surprises people every time I mention it. If your toilet is clogged and the plunger isn't getting it done, go to your kitchen and grab your regular liquid dish soap. Squirt a generous amount into the toilet bowl, maybe a 1/4 cup or so. Then let it sit for about 10 minutes. What the soap does is coat the inside of the drain passage and lubricate the surface so the clog can slide through more easily. After 10 minutes, pour a bucket of hot water into the bowl from about waist height. Not boiling water, because that can crack porcelain, just hot tap water. Pour it with enough force to create pressure, but not so much that you overflow the bowl. The combination of the slippery soap coating and the pressure from the hot water will often push that clog right through. I've used this trick in my own house more than once, and it's saved me from having to pull out the auger. The key is patience. Let the soap do its work before you add the water. Most people rush it, and rushing is what turns a simple fix into a mess. The eighth trick on our list is the P-trap cleanout, and this is the one most homeowners are afraid to try. But I'm telling you, it's easier than you think, and it's probably the most effective trick on this entire list for sink clogs. The P-trap is that curved section of pipe underneath your sink that looks like the letter P or U turned on its side. It holds a small amount of water at all times, which is what keeps sewer gas from coming back up into your house. But it's also where clogs love to settle. Every bit of grease, hair, food, and debris that makes it past the drain opening ends up sitting in that curve. To clean it, put a bucket directly underneath the P-trap. Then use a pair of channel locks. Those are the adjustable pliers with the angled jaw, and loosen the two slip nuts on either end of the curved section. Turn them counterclockwise. They should come loose without too much effort. Once both nuts are loose, carefully lower the P-trap down and dump it into the bucket. You'll usually find a solid plug of gunk in there. Clean the inside of the pipe with an old bottle brush or a rag, then put it all back together. Hand tighten the slip nuts first, then give them a quarter turn with the channel locks. Don't over-tighten or you'll crack the fittings. Turn the water on and check for leaks. The whole job takes maybe 5 minutes, and you'll have a drain that flows like the day it was installed. My Uncle Ray used to say the best plumbing tricks are the ones that don't require a trip to the store. This is exactly that. The ninth trick is one that plays the long game, and it's the enzymatic drain maintenance trick. This isn't about blasting a clog out in 10 seconds. This is about making sure you never get a serious clog in the first place. Enzyme-based drain cleaners like BioClean or Green Gobbler use natural bacteria and enzymes that literally eat the organic material building up inside your pipes. Hair, grease, soap scum, food particles, all of it. You pour the recommended amount down each drain in your house, usually right before bed, so it has hours to work without any water washing it away. Do this once a month, and you'll notice your drains stay fast and clear. Now here's the thing. These are not the same as chemical drain cleaners, like the ones with lye or sulfuric acid. Those chemical cleaners can damage your pipes over time, especially if you've got older cast iron or PVC. They can eat through gaskets and weaken joints. Enzyme cleaners are completely safe for all pipe types. They won't hurt your septic system either. In fact, they help it. Think of this as preventive medicine for your plumbing. You wouldn't wait until your car engine seizes to change the oil. Same idea. A little maintenance every month keeps the big clogs from ever forming. I started doing this in my own house about 10 years ago, and I haven't had a single slow drain since. The 10th and final trick on our list is the air-burst drain blaster, and this one is the heavy hitter. A drain blaster is a handheld tool that uses a burst of compressed air to blow a clog right out of the pipe. You pump it up by hand, just like a bicycle pump. Place the rubber tip over the drain opening and pull the trigger. The blast of air sends a shock wave through the standing water in the pipe and dislodges whatever is blocking it. It's fast, it's satisfying, and it works on some of the toughest clogs you'll run into as a homeowner. You can find a good one from brands like Drain X or Monument for somewhere around $30 to $40. Now, there are a couple things to keep in mind. First, make sure you get a tight seal over the drain. Same idea as the plunger trick. No seal, no pressure. Second, if you're using this on a double basin kitchen sink, plug the other side with a wet rag so the air doesn't just blow out the opposite drain. Same goes for tub drains. Plug the overflow hole before you fire. And third, don't use this on toilets unless the specific model says it's toilet safe, because the force can crack older porcelain. For sinks, tubs, and shower drains, though, this thing is a game changer. I'll tell you, the first time you use one and hear that clog break free, you'll wonder why you ever bothered with anything else. All right, now for the bonus tip I've been holding on to, and this one is pure prevention. Go to every drain in your house right now, every sink, every tub, every shower, and install a mesh drain screen if you don't already have one. I'm talking about those small stainless steel or silicone mesh covers that sit right over the drain opening and catch hair, food scraps, and debris before they ever enter the pipe. You can buy a pack of them for a few dollars at any hardware store or online. They come in different sizes to fit standard drains. Here's why this matters. 90% of household drain clogs start with something that should have been caught before it went down the drain. A $2 mesh screen eliminates that problem entirely. Clean the screen off every few days, toss the debris in the trash, and put it back. That's it. Combine that with the enzyme treatment I mentioned earlier, and you're looking at a house where slow drains basically don't exist. The best repair is the one you never have to make. That's how my Uncle Ray taught me, and that's how I'm teaching you. Before you go, if you got something out of this video, do me one last favor and hit that subscribe button. I put out new videos every week covering real-world plumbing repairs, money-saving tips, and the kind of know-how that takes years to pick up on the job. Subscribing costs you nothing, and it makes sure these videos show up in your feed when you need them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.